Hello, friend. I'm glad you're here with me tonight. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Feel the mattress beneath you. Feel the weight of your blankets. You are safe. You are comfortable. Tonight, we are going to talk about the world. But we are not going to talk about the world of news or the world of stress. We are going to talk about the world of wonder. We are going to look at 100 mysteries that once kept people awake with wonder or fear, and we are going to see how the earth has already solved them for us. For a very long time, humans looked at the horizon and saw things they could not explain. We saw things that looked like magic. We saw things that looked like ghosts. But as we began to understand the language of the earth, which is the language of science, we realized that there is a deep, quiet logic to everything. The world is like a giant, ancient clock. Sometimes it ticks in a way we do not expect. Sometimes it makes a sound we have never heard. But it is always working. It is always in balance. Tonight, I want you to let your mind wander through these stories. Do not try to memorize them. Do not try to study them. Just let the words wash over you like a gentle rain. Let the stories settle into your mind. As we go through these 100 solved mysteries, you will find that the world is a much friendlier place than you thought. It is a place of light and geometry and slow, ancient rhythms. We will start with the mysteries that captured the world's imagination. The ones that went viral. The ones that made people whisper about aliens or monsters. And then, we will move into the very air you are breathing right now. Let us begin our journey in the desert. Close your eyes and imagine you are standing in the middle of a place called Death Valley. It is a vast, dry land. The ground is cracked. The heat of the day has faded, and a cool, purple twilight is settling over the mountains. This is a place of silence. But in this silence, there was a mystery that lasted for nearly 100 years. It is the story of the sailing stones. On a flat, dry lakebed called Racetrack Playa, there are stones. Some are small enough to hold in your hand. Others are massive boulders weighing hundreds of pounds. And for decades, these stones did something impossible. They moved. They left long, winding tracks in the mud behind them. Some tracks were hundreds of feet long. Some were straight. Others turned at sharp, 90-degree angles. But here is the strange part. No one ever saw them move. There were no footprints around them. No tire tracks. No signs of anyone pushing them. People came from all over the world to see the tracks. They came up with wild theories. They thought perhaps the Earth's magnetic field was pulling the rocks. They thought perhaps there were strange gusts of wind that only happened when no one was looking. Some even thought the desert was haunted by the spirits of ancient travelers. But the rocks kept their secret. They moved only in the dark, only in the cold, and only when the desert was empty. Then, in 2014, the mystery was finally solved. It turns out that the answer was not magic, but a rare and beautiful piece of physics. It requires a perfect recipe. First, you need a little bit of rain to turn the dry playa into a shallow pond. Then, you need the temperature to drop at night until a thin sheet of ice forms. This ice is as thin as a pane of glass. It is called window pane ice. When the sun comes up the next morning, the ice begins to melt and crack into large, floating panels. If a light breeze blows, just a gentle morning wind, it pushes these huge sheets of floating ice. And the ice, in turn, pushes the rocks. Because the ice sheets are so large, they have enough surface area to catch the wind and move even the heaviest boulders across the slippery mud. The rocks were not sailing. They were being gently nudged by a frozen desert. When the water evaporates, the tracks remain, carved into the drying mud. It is a slow, quiet dance of stone and ice. It is the earth ice skating in the dark. Now, let us leave the dry desert and move to the deep, blue silence of the ocean. Imagine the Pacific Ocean. It is so big that you could drop all the continents of the world into it and still have room to spare. In 1997, the world heard a sound from the deep that it could not explain. Scientists called it the Bloop. It was a low-frequency sound, a deep, booming groan that lasted for about a minute. It was picked up by underwater microphones that were 3,000 miles apart. To give you an idea of how loud that is, the loudest animal on Earth is the blue whale. But the bloop was much, much louder than a blue whale. It was so loud that people began to panic. If a whale did not make this sound, what did? People started talking about sea monsters. They thought about the giant creatures from old sailors' myths. They thought about things with 1,000 tentacles sleeping in the dark. For 8 years, the bloop was a symbol of the terrifying unknown. But the Earth was just shifting. Scientists kept listening, and they realized that the sound was not coming from a living creature. It was coming from the ice. Specifically, it was coming from Antarctica. When a massive iceberg, a piece of ice the size of a city, cracks and breaks off from a glacier, it creates a sound called an icequake. Because the water in the ocean is so cold and so dense, it carries that sound for thousands of miles. The bloop was just the sound of a giant iceberg finding its way into the sea. It was the sound of the planet changing its shape. The ocean is not full of monsters. It is just full of moving mountains of ice, cracking and groaning as they settle into the water. While we are thinking about the ocean, let us think about history. Sometimes, the Earth hides things in the sand and the salt to keep them safe for us. In the year 1900, some divers were looking for sponges off the coast of a small Greek island called Antikythera. They found a shipwreck. And inside that shipwreck, they found a lump of green, rusted bronze. It looked like a piece of junk. It looked like something you would throw away. But when it dried out and began to crack, the divers saw something that should not have existed. They saw gears. They saw teeth. They saw dials. This was the Antikythera mechanism. For 100 years, it baffled the greatest minds in the world. How could people 2,000 years ago build something with gears this complex? It was more advanced than any clock made for the next 1,500 years. Some people said it was an alien artifact. They said it was a gift from a more advanced civilization. But we used technology to look inside. We used X-rays. We used 3D scans. And we found that it was not alien. It was human. It was the world's first computer. It was a device used to track the stars. By turning a small handle, an ancient astronomer could see exactly where the sun, the moon, and the planets would be on any day of the year. It could even predict eclipses decades in advance. It shows us that our ancestors were not just farmers and warriors. They were dreamers. They were mathematicians. They looked at the same stars you see tonight and they built a machine to understand them. The mystery was not who made it, but how much we had forgotten about our own brilliance. Sometimes, a mystery is not about what we find, but what we lose. Think about the story of the Mary Celeste. It is perhaps the most famous ghost ship in history. In 1872, this ship was found drifting in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was in perfect condition. The sails were up. There was plenty of food and water. The crew's clothes were still in their trunks. But every single person was gone. The captain, his family, and the sailors. They vanished into thin air. For over a century, people used this story to scare children. They talked about giant squids pulling people off the deck. They talked about pirates. They talked about the Bermuda Triangle. But when scientists looked at the cargo list, they found a clue. The ship was carrying 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. Using modern computer models, researchers found that some of those barrels had likely leaked. Imagine you are the captain. You hear a strange, low rumbling coming from the hold. You smell a sharp, chemical scent. You see a blue flash of flame that does not leave a mark, but makes a terrifying sound. This is what happens when alcohol fumes ignite. It does not burn the wood, but it creates a pressure wave. The captain, fearing the ship was about to explode, ordered everyone into a small lifeboat to wait. But they did not tie the rope properly. The wind caught the Mary Celeste, and she sailed away, leaving her crew behind in the vast, empty ocean. It was a tragedy, yes. But it was a human tragedy. It was a moment of panic caused by chemistry. The ocean did not take them. A misunderstanding of the world did. Now, look at your hands. Or look at a ring on your finger. If you see gold, you are looking at one of the greatest solved mysteries of our solar system. For a long time, we did not know where gold came from. We knew it was in the earth, but we also knew the earth could not make it. To make a single atom of gold, you need more heat and pressure than a volcano or even the center of the earth can provide. So how did it get here? The answer is found in the stars. Specifically, in the death of stars. When two neutron stars, which are the collapsed cores of giant suns, crash into each other, the explosion is so violent that it creates new elements. It creates gold. Billions of years ago, a star crash happened near our corner of space. It showered the universe in gold dust. When the Earth was forming, that dust became part of our planet. Every piece of gold you have ever seen was forged in a cosmic explosion that happened before the world even existed. You are wearing a piece of a dead star. It is a beautiful thought, is it not? That something so common as a piece of jewelry is actually a relic of a celestial fire. While we are thinking about the quiet sounds of the world, let us talk about the hum. In many parts of the world, from New Mexico to the shores of England, people have reported hearing a low, persistent drone. It sounds like a truck idling outside your house. It never stops. It is so low that some people can feel it in their bones. It has driven people to distraction for 40 years. They checked the power lines. They checked the water pipes. They blamed secret government projects. But the hum is just the world being a world. Scientists found that the ocean is a noisy place. When waves roll over the deep seabed, they create vibrations. When those vibrations hit the shore, they travel through the ground. To some people, with very sensitive hearing, that vibration sounds like a hum. In other places, it was even simpler. In one town, the hum was caused by the collective mating calls of thousands of midshipman fish. One fish is quiet. A million fish singing at once sounds like a power station. The earth is not humming because it is broken. It is humming because it is alive. It is a vibration of life and water. Now, let us fly over the desert of Peru. If you look down, you see lines. Huge, perfect lines. You see a monkey. You see a spider. You see a bird with a wingspan as long as a city block. These are the Nazca lines. For a long time, people asked the same question. Why would ancient people build things that can only be seen from the sky? They did not have planes. They did not have balloons. So, people assumed they were building them for someone else. They thought the lines were landing strips for ancient astronauts. But the mystery was solved by looking at the ground, not the sky. When archaeologists walked the lines, they found pieces of pottery. They found altars. They realized the lines were not meant to be looked at. They were meant to be walked. In a land where it almost never rains, water is the most precious thing in the world. The lines follow the paths of underground water. They were ritual paths. The people would walk these lines in prayer, asking the earth for water. The shapes were symbols of life. They did not need to see them from a plane to know they were there. They felt them beneath their feet. The mystery was solved by understanding that for the ancient world, the ground was just as holy as the sky. Think about the compass. It always points north. It feels like a law of nature. But we found that the Earth's heart is restless. In the rocks at the bottom of the sea, we found a record of the Earth's magnetic field. And we found that every few 100,000 years, the field flips. North becomes south. South becomes north. This discovery caused a lot of fear. People thought that when the field flips, we will lose our protection from the sun. They thought it would be the end of civilization. But we looked closer at the timeline. We found that these flips are not sudden. They take thousands of years. It is a slow, gradual shift. During the flip, the magnetic field gets a bit complicated. There might be 4 poles instead of 2 for a while. But the field never disappears. It is just the molten iron in the Earth's core shifting around, like someone turning over in their sleep. It has happened hundreds of times in the history of the world, and life has always continued. The Earth is just a giant magnet that likes to change its mind. It is a slow, rhythmic part of our planet's life. If you ever go to Venezuela, you will see a mystery that has lit up the sky for as long as humans have lived there. At the mouth of the Catatumbo River, there is a storm. But it is not a normal storm. It happens nearly every single night. For 10 hours a day, the sky is filled with lightning. There is no thunder, just a silent, electric fire. It is so bright that it can be seen from 200 miles away. How can one place be so full of energy? The answer is a perfect alignment of the Earth's features. The river is surrounded by high mountains. These mountains trap warm, moist air from the Caribbean. When the sun goes down, the cold air from the Andes Mountains rushes down into the valley. It hits the warm air and creates a massive electrical charge. Because there is so much methane in the nearby swamps, the air becomes an incredible conductor. The sky becomes a permanent circuit. It is not an angry storm. It is a beautiful machine. It is the Earth's most reliable light show. It is the place where the planet breathes light. And then, there is the mystery of death itself. We think of death as the end of every story. But the Earth found a loophole. In the warm waters of the Mediterranean, there is a tiny creature called the immortal jellyfish. It is no bigger than your fingernail. When this jellyfish gets old, or when it gets injured, it does something that we once thought was impossible. It sinks to the bottom of the ocean. It turns its cells back into their youngest form. It becomes a baby again. Imagine if you could grow old, and then, whenever you wanted, you could just turn back into a child and start over. That is what this jellyfish does. It can do it forever. It has solved the mystery of aging. It shows us that nature is full of surprises. It shows us that life is not always a straight line. Sometimes, it is a circle. As you drift towards sleep, think about that circle. Think about how everything in the world is constantly being born again. Now, let us look at the sky. The sky is the first thing we see when we wake up and the last thing we see before we sleep. But even the sky is a collection of solved mysteries. Take the color blue. Why is the sky blue? It is one of the first questions children ask. For a long time, we thought the air was just a blue gas. But the air is clear. The reason the sky is blue is because of a dance of light. Sunlight looks white, but it is a mixture of all the colors of the rainbow. When that light hits our atmosphere, it runs into the tiny molecules of nitrogen and oxygen. Red light and yellow light have long, slow waves. They pass through the air easily. But blue light has short, choppy waves. When it hits the air, it bounces. It scatters in every direction. When you look up, you are seeing that scattered blue light. It is like a blue mist that fills the sky. At sunset, the light has to travel through more air to reach you. By then, all the blue has been scattered away, leaving only the reds and the oranges to paint the clouds. The sky is a prism. It is a filter. It is a reminder that even the simplest things, like a blue sky, are the result of a beautiful, complex interaction between the sun and the earth. If you are very lucky, and you are standing on a beach at sunset, you might see the green flash. For a long time, this was considered a fairy tale. A myth. But it is a real physical event. Just as the sun is about to disappear, a tiny, brilliant spark of green light appears at the very top. It lasts for only a second. It is caused by the atmosphere bending the light like a lens. It is the very last bit of light to reach you, refracted through the thickest part of the air. It is a tiny, emerald goodbye from the day. It is a reminder to pay attention to the small moments, because they are often the most magical. Think about the storms of the past. Imagine a wooden ship in a dark sea. The wind is howling. The waves are crashing. And suddenly, the tips of the masts begin to glow with a ghostly, flickering blue light. Sailors called this St. Elmo's fire. They thought it was a spirit protecting them. They thought the ship was on fire, but the wood did not burn. It was a terrifying mystery. But we know it is not fire. It is plasma. During a storm, the atmosphere becomes full of electricity. Sharp objects, like a ship's mast or the wing of an airplane, concentrate that electricity. The air around the point becomes so energized that it begins to glow. It is the same process that happens inside a neon sign. It is not a fire. It is just the air becoming visible. It is the earth showing its electric heart. And then, there are the rainbows of the night. We think of rainbows as things that belong to the sun. But the moon can make them too. They are called moonbows. They happen when a bright moon shines through a light mist. They are faint and delicate. Often, they look white to our eyes because we cannot see color well in the dark. But they are there, a perfect arc of light in the middle of the night. It is a secret version of the day. It is a quiet, silver bridge across the sky. If you ever go to the far north or the far south, in the middle of winter, you might see the air start to sparkle. Even if there are no clouds, the air looks like it is full of tiny, floating diamonds. This is diamond dust. It happens when the air is so cold that the water vapor freezes instantly into tiny, six-sided crystals. They are so light that they do not fall. They just drift. When the sun hits them, they flash. It is like the air itself has become a jewel. It is one of the quietest and most beautiful things on our planet. It is the Earth's way of turning a freezing morning into a cathedral of light. Sometimes, the sun has company. You might see the sun in the sky, and then, on either side of it, two bright spots of light. They look like two extra suns. These are sun dogs. Ancient kings used to see them as signs of victory or defeat. But they are just physics. High in the sky, there are clouds made of ice. These ice crystals are shaped like little hexagons. As they fall through the air, they stay flat. They act like little mirrors, reflecting the sun's light back at you from a specific angle. They are the sun's reflection in the eyes of the sky. They are a reminder that the atmosphere is full of structure, even when it looks empty. Have you ever seen clouds that glow in the dark? Not clouds that reflect the city lights, but clouds that seem to have their own inner light? These are noctilucent clouds. They are the highest clouds in the world. They live 50 miles up, at the very edge of space. They are so high that they can still see the sun long after it has set for us on the ground. They are made of ice and meteor dust. They glow with a haunting, electric blue light. When you see them, you are looking at the boundary between our world and the stars. You are looking at the very fringe of our atmosphere, where the air finally fades away into the blackness of the cosmos. And what about the ghost cities in the sky? For centuries, people have reported seeing islands, or mountains, or ships floating upside down in the air. This is the Fata Morgana. It is not a hallucination. It is an optical illusion caused by layers of air with different temperatures. The air acts like a lens, bending light from far away and projecting it onto the sky. It is a natural projector. It can make a tiny rock on the horizon look like a towering castle. It is the Earth's way of showing us things that are beyond our sight. It is a trick of the light, but it is a beautiful one. One of the most terrifying mysteries of the sky was ball lightning. For a long time, scientists did not believe it existed. But thousands of people reported seeing it. A glowing ball of light, the size of a basketball, that would drift through a room or roll down a street during a thunderstorm. It would last for several seconds and then disappear with a loud bang. We now believe it is caused by lightning hitting the ground. When lightning hits soil that is rich in silicon, it vaporizes the dirt. That vapor forms a ball of glowing gas that burns slowly as it moves through the air. It is a rare and strange event, a piece of the earth that has been turned into a floating star. It is a reminder that the world beneath our feet and the sky above our heads are always in conversation. Before the sun goes down, or just as it is rising, look at the horizon opposite the sun. You will see a dark, blue-gray band. That is the shadow of the Earth itself, being cast onto the atmosphere. But right above that shadow, there is a beautiful, pinkish-purple glow. This is the belt of Venus. It is the scattered light from the sunset on the other side of the planet. It is a gentle, soft light that marks the transition between day and night. It is a moment of perfect peace. Think about a raindrop. If you were to draw one, you would draw a teardrop. Everyone does. But a raindrop does not look like that. As it falls through the air, it is pushed from below. The bottom flattens out. The sides bulge. By the time it hits the ground, it looks like a tiny hamburger bun. Or a little jelly bean. The teardrop shape is a human invention. The reality is much rounder, much softer. A sky full of tiny falling hamburgers is a much more pleasant thought than a sky full of tears. It is a reminder that nature is often more whimsical than we imagine. And then there is the sound of the rain's partner. Thunder. Why does lightning go crack, but thunder go rumble? Lightning is a single, sudden event. It is over in a fraction of a second. The crack is the sound of the air exploding from the heat. But a lightning bolt can be miles long. The sound from the part near the ground reaches you first. The sound from the part at the top of the cloud takes longer to get there. As those sounds arrive at different times, they stretch out. They bounce off the ground and the hills. The crack becomes a roll. The rumble is the sound of the sky trying to find its way back to silence. It is the echo of a great energy settling down. If you have ever been in a plane and looked at the clouds, you may have seen a glory. It is a tiny, circular rainbow that forms around the shadow of the airplane. It looks like a halo. Ancient mountain climbers saw this around their own shadows in the mist and thought they were seeing a divine sign. But it is just the way light bounces back from very small water droplets. It is a personal rainbow. Because of the way the light works, you can only see the glory around your own shadow. It is a gift that nature gives only to you, at that exact moment, in that exact place. Have you ever seen a cloud that looks like an oil slick? Or like a soap bubble? This is cloud iridescence. It happens when the sunlight hits the very edge of a cloud. If the water droplets are all the same size, they spread the colors out in a shimmering, pearly pattern. It makes the cloud look like it is made of silk. It is a fleeting beauty. It only lasts for a few minutes before the cloud changes shape. It is a reminder that the world is constantly creating art, even if no one is there to see it. Sometimes, after a big storm, the sky looks like it is full of giant, hanging pouches. These are mammotus clouds. They look heavy and dramatic. They look like they are about to fall on you. But they are actually a sign of calm. They form when cold air sinks down into the warmer air below. They are the exhaust of a storm. They mean the energy is gone. The sky is resting. They are some of the most beautiful and strange clouds in the world, and they are a signal that the danger has passed. Think about the sun shining through a dusty room. You see the beams of light. This is the Tyndall effect. It happens in the forest, too. When the sun shines through the canopy, the mist and the dust make the beams visible. They look like solid pillars of gold. It turns a simple walk in the woods into a sacred experience. It is just light hitting dust, but it feels like magic. It shows us that even the smallest particles in the air have a role to play in creating beauty. And what about the rainbow that smiles? A circumzenithal arc is a rainbow that is turned upside down. It sits high in the sky, far above the sun. It is made by ice, not rain. It only happens when the ice crystals in the clouds are perfectly flat and aligned. It looks like a bright, colorful smile in the heavens. It is a rare sight, and it is impossible to see it without feeling a little bit better. On a very cold winter night, you might see pillars of light rising from the city. They look like beams from a movie. These are light pillars. They are caused by flat ice crystals floating near the ground. They act like mirrors, reflecting the light from the streetlights back up to the sky. It makes the world look like a futuristic city. It is a bridge of light between the ground and the stars. It is a reminder that even our own human lights can be transformed by the earth into something wonderful. If you go out into the grass early in the morning, when the dew is still on the ground, look at your shadow. You will see a bright, white glow around the head of your shadow. This is the Heiligenschein. The dewdrops on the grass act like little lenses. They focus the sunlight and reflect it back to you. Just like the glory, you are the only one who can see your own glow. It is a private morning greeting from the earth. It makes you feel like you are walking in a halo of light. And finally, think about the atmosphere as a whole. It is not just sitting there. It is moving. The moon pulls on the ocean, but it also pulls on the air. Twice a day, the entire atmosphere of the planet bulges toward the moon. There are tides in the sky, just like there are tides in the sea. The air you are breathing is rising and falling in a slow, cosmic rhythm. You are part of that rhythm. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, you are moving with the moon. You are moving with the earth. The world is a magnificent, solved mystery. From the stones that skate on the ice of the desert to the clouds that glow at the edge of space. From the gold in your ring that was born in a star crash to the jellyfish that lives forever. Everything is connected. Everything has a reason. As you fall deeper into sleep, let these stories be your comfort. The dark is not full of monsters. It is full of ice quakes and silicon vapor. The unknown is not a place of fear. It is a place of gears and ancient math. The world is a safe place. It is a smart place. And it is a beautiful place. The air is still. The night is quiet. The earth is spinning slowly, carrying you through the stars. You are part of the genius of nature. You are home. You are safe. You are at peace. Take a long, slow breath. Feel the air as it enters your lungs, cool and fresh. Then, let it out. Imagine that breath traveling out into the world, moving past your window, through the streets, and toward the edge of a deep, green forest. This is where we are going tonight. We have left the wide, open sky behind, and now we are stepping into the cool, dappled shade of the woods. The ground here is soft. It is made of thousands of years of fallen leaves, pine needles, and rich, damp earth. As you walk, your footsteps make no sound. The air is thick with the scent of moss and ancient wood. It is a quiet place, but it is not a silent one. If you listen with your heart, you can hear the forest breathing. You can hear the trees talking. For a long time, we thought of trees as lonely giants. We thought they just stood there, competing for sunlight, indifferent to their neighbors. But we have discovered a mystery that changed everything. It is a mystery that makes the forest feel more like a family than a collection of plants. We call it the Wood Wide Web. Beneath your feet, hidden under the soil, there is a vast and complex network. It is made of fungi. Tiny, microscopic white threads called mycelium. These threads wrap themselves around the roots of the trees, creating a bridge between them. Through this bridge, trees actually talk to one another. They share food. If a young sapling is growing in the deep shade and cannot get enough sunlight, the older, taller mother trees will send sugar and nutrients through the fungal network to keep the baby alive. They even send warnings. If a tree is being attacked by bugs, it releases a chemical signal into the network, telling all the other trees to start building up their defenses. The forest is not a group of individuals. It is a community. It is a living, breathing social network that has been operating for millions of years. You are never alone in a forest. You are walking through a conversation. As you look up from the forest floor, you might see another mystery. It is a beautiful sight that looks like a jigsaw puzzle in the sky. If you look at the very tops of the trees, you will notice that they do not touch. Even when they are packed tightly together, there is a tiny, perfect gap between the branches of one tree and the branches of its neighbor. It looks like a network of rivers made of blue sky. Scientists call this crown shyness. For a long time, we did not know why trees were so polite. Some thought it was to prevent bugs from jumping from one tree to another. Others thought the wind made the branches knock together, breaking off the tips so they could not grow any further. But the reality is a bit of both, and a bit of wisdom. By leaving a gap, the trees ensure that every leaf gets the maximum amount of light. They respect each other's boundaries. They have learned that by giving each other space, the whole forest thrives. It is a lesson in harmony. The trees are dancing together, but they are careful not to step on each other's toes. As the sun begins to set and the shadows grow long, the forest changes. In some parts of the world, the ground begins to glow. This is the mystery of foxfire. If you were walking through a dark wood in the middle of the night, you might see a soft, ghostly green light coming from a rotting log or a pile of leaves. It looks like something from a fairy tale. In ancient times, people thought it was the light of forest spirits or magic. But it is not magic. It is life. It is bioluminescent fungi. There are dozens of species of mushrooms that create their own light through a chemical reaction. They do not do it to look pretty. They do it to survive. The green light attracts insects in the dark. The insects land on the glowing fungus, get covered in spores, and then fly away, spreading the fungus to new parts of the forest. It is a brilliant, glowing invitation. It is the forest's own neon sign, advertising a place for life to grow. Even when the forest seems to be dying, it is often just waiting. Think about the resurrection plants. There are some mosses and ferns that can live in places where it does not rain for years. They turn brown. They shrivel up. They become so dry that they crumble if you touch them. They look completely dead. But the moment a drop of water hits them, something incredible happens. Within hours, they begin to turn green. They unfold their leaves. They come back to life as if by magic. These plants have solved the mystery of time. They have learned how to hit the pause button on life. They protect their cells with a special kind of sugar that acts like a glass shield, keeping everything safe until the water returns. It is a reminder that even when things seem hopeless and dry, the potential for life is still there, just waiting for the right moment to bloom again. If you look closely at the way a plant grows, you will see a mystery written in math. Look at the seeds in a sunflower. Look at the scales on a pine cone. Look at the way leaves are arranged on a stem. They follow a very specific pattern called phyllotaxis. This pattern follows the Fibonacci sequence, a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two before it. Why would a plant care about math? Because nature is the ultimate architect. By growing in this specific spiral pattern, the plant ensures that no leaf shades another leaf. Every seed gets the perfect amount of space. Every petal gets the maximum amount of sun. The forest is not chaotic. It is a masterpiece of geometry. Even in the wildest woods, there is an underlying order, a quiet rhythm of numbers that guides the growth of every living thing. Now, imagine something that is not a plant and not an animal. It is a yellow, slimy substance that creeps across the forest floor. This is slime mold. For a long time, we thought it was just a simple fungus. But then we realized it can solve mazes. It can remember where it found food. It can even plan efficient transportation routes. The mystery is that slime mold has no brain. It has no nervous system. It is just a collection of single cells that have decided to work together. If you put a slime mold in a maze with food at the end, it will explore every path, find the food, and then shrink away from the dead ends, leaving behind a single, perfect path to the meal. Scientists once mapped out the cities of Japan using pieces of oat flakes, and the slime mold grew a network between them that was almost identical to the Tokyo rail system. It shows us that intelligence does not always need a brain. Sometimes, life just knows what to do. It is a different kind of thinking, a slow, patient wisdom that we are only just beginning to understand. Trees do not have voices, but they do have a sense of smell. And they use it to scream. When you walk through a forest and you smell that sweet, earthy scent of crushed leaves or pine, you are actually smelling a conversation. This is volatile communication. If a caterpillar starts eating the leaves of a willow tree, the tree does not just sit there. It releases a specific scent into the air. Other willow trees nearby smell this chemical and immediately start pumping bitter toxins into their own leaves to make them taste bad to the caterpillar. Some trees can even call for help. They release a scent that attracts the specific wasps that eat the caterpillars that are attacking the tree. The tree is literally calling in an airstrike. The forest is a place of constant, invisible signals, a world of scent that tells a story of survival and cooperation. Have you ever wondered how a seed knows which way to grow? You can take a seed and bury it upside down, or sideways, or in total darkness. But the roots will always go down, and the stem will always go up. This is the mystery of gravitropism. Inside the tips of the roots, there are tiny, heavy crystals of starch. They act like little stones. Gravity pulls these crystals to the bottom of the cell. The plant feels the weight of these crystals and knows that down is where the stones are. It is a simple, perfect internal compass. Even in the dark, even under the earth, the plant knows where the center of the world is. It knows its place in the universe. It is a grounding thought, isn't it? That every living thing has a way to find its center. Trees might seem static, but they move in a slow, rhythmic way. Scientists have discovered the pulse of trees. Using lasers to measure the movements of trees at night, they found that many trees sleep. Their branches droop slightly after the sun goes down, falling by as much as 10 centimeters. And then, just before the sun comes up, they perk back up again. But more than that, some trees have a pulse. Their trunks actually expand and contract by a few millimeters every few hours. It is not tied to the sun or the wind. It is an internal rhythm, a slow pumping of water and energy that looks very much like a heartbeat. The forest is not a collection of objects. It is a collection of heartbeats, all ticking at a pace so slow that we can only see it when we look with the eyes of science. And what about that smell of fresh-cut grass? We think of it as the scent of summer. We think of it as a pleasant, clean smell. But to the grass, it is a chemical SOS. When a blade of grass is cut or torn, it releases a mixture of organic compounds. This scent is meant to alert the rest of the plant to the injury and to jumpstart the healing process. It is the grass's way of crying out. It is a small reminder that even the things we find beautiful are often born out of a struggle for life. The world is full of these dualities, where pain and beauty are woven together into a single scent. As the year turns and the air grows cold, the forest performs its most famous trick, the autumn color change. We see the hills turn to fire, reds, oranges, and golds. We used to think the leaves were turning these colors. But the truth is more poetic. Those colors were always there. During the summer, the leaves are full of chlorophyll, the bright green chemical that turns sunlight into food. Chlorophyll is so strong that it hides all the other colors. But when the days get shorter and the tree prepares for winter, it stops making chlorophyll. It begins to break it down and pull the nutrients back into the trunk for safekeeping. As the green fades away, the hidden colors are revealed. The yellows and oranges that have been there all along finally get their chance to shine. The red colors are often made specifically in the fall to protect the leaf as it dies, acting like a sunblock. The forest in autumn is not a dying place. It is a place showing its true colors. It is a moment of honesty before the long sleep of winter. Deep in the forest, trees act as water pumps. This is the mystery of hydraulic lift. At night, when the tree is not busy using sunlight to make food, its roots are still hard at work. Large trees have roots that go very deep into the earth, reaching the water that smaller plants cannot touch. At night, the tree pulls this deep water up through its trunk, but it does not use all of it. It leaks some of the water out into the shallow soil near the surface. Why would a tree give away its water? Because it helps the whole community. By keeping the shallow soil moist, the tree ensures that the fungi and the smaller plants it depends on stay healthy. It is a silent act of charity. The giant of the forest is taking care of the small and the weak while the world sleeps. It is a beautiful, hidden system of support that keeps the forest green even during a dry spell. In the mountains of India, there are bridges that are not built, but grown. These are the living root bridges. For centuries, the local people have used the roots of ficus trees to cross rivers. They guide the roots across the water using hollowed-out bamboo. Over decades, the roots grow thick and strong, eventually knitting together to form a bridge that can hold dozens of people at once. The mystery here is that these bridges do not get weaker with age. A bridge made of steel or wood will eventually rot or rust. But a bridge made of living roots gets stronger every year. It heals itself. It grows deeper into the earth. It is a perfect partnership between humans and nature. It shows us that we do not always have to fight the world to make it work for us. Sometimes, we can just guide it, and it will carry us. Have you ever noticed how a tree in the middle of a dense forest has a long, straight trunk with no branches at the bottom? But a tree in an open field has branches that go all the way to the ground? This is the mystery of self-pruning. Trees are very efficient. If a branch is not getting enough sunlight to pay for itself in sugar, the tree will cut off its energy supply. The branch will die and eventually fall off. The tree prunes itself to save energy for the branches that are actually doing the work. It is a lesson in letting go. To grow tall and reach the light, the tree must be willing to drop the parts of itself that are no longer useful. It is a quiet, necessary kind of shedding. It is how the forest stays healthy and focused on the sky. If you travel to the mountains of Sweden, you might find a small, scraggly spruce tree called Old Chico. It does not look like much. It is only about 16 feet tall. But science has found that this tree is over 9,500 years old. The mystery is how a tree can live that long. The answer is that the trunk we see might be young, but the root system is ancient. Whenever the trunk dies, the roots grow a new one. It is a clone of itself. This tree has been standing in the same spot since the end of the last ice age. It has seen the rise and fall of civilizations. It has seen the climate change and the world transform. And it just keeps growing, one trunk at a time. It is a reminder that persistence is often more important than size. The oldest thing in the forest is not the biggest. It is the one that refuses to give up. In the tropics, there is a partnership that looks like a high-security apartment building. This is the ant-plant symbiosis. Certain trees have hollow thorns or stems. These are not accidents of nature, they are built-in homes for ants. The tree provides the ants with a safe place to live and special food bodies full of sugar and protein. In exchange, the ants become the tree's private army. If a deer tries to eat the leaves, the ants swarm out and bite it. If another plant tries to grow too close and steal the sunlight, the ants will chew it away. They even clean the tree of harmful fungi. The tree and the ants have become so dependent on each other that neither could survive alone. It is a perfect, tiny world of cooperation, a reminder that even the smallest creatures have a role to play in the grand design of the forest. Imagine a flower that is bigger than a person. It is called the Titan arum, or the corpse flower. It is famous for its terrible smell, which is like rotting meat. But there is another mystery to this flower. When it blooms, it produces its own heat. The flower can heat itself up to 96 degrees Fahrenheit, even when the air around it is cool. It does this to help spread its scent. The heat creates a chimney effect, carrying the smell of rotting meat high into the air to attract carrion beetles from miles away. It is a plant that acts like an animal. It burns energy to stay warm. It is a strange, rare moment where the line between the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom gets a little bit blurry. It shows us that nature is always willing to break the rules to ensure the next generation survives. If you look at a Venus flytrap, you are looking at a plant that can count. This was a mystery for a long time. How does a plant know when to snap shut? If it shut every time a drop of rain or a piece of dust hit it, it would waste all its energy. The flytrap has tiny hairs inside its leaves. If an insect touches one hair, nothing happens. But if it touches a second hair within 20 seconds, the trap snaps shut in less than a second. And it doesn't stop there. Once the insect is trapped, it has to touch the hairs 3 more times before the plant begins to produce digestive enzymes. The plant is counting. It is making sure that it has caught something worth eating before it spends the energy to digest it. It is a cold, calculated bit of biological math. It shows us that even without a brain, life can be incredibly precise. Sometimes, the forest is a library of the past. This is the mystery of seed dormancy. In 2005, scientists took a seed from a Judean date palm that had been found in an ancient fortress. The seed was 2,000 years old. It had been sitting in a dry, dark room since the time of the Romans. They planted it. And it grew. The seed had been in a state of deep sleep for 2 millennia, waiting for the right conditions. It carried the DNA of a forest that had been extinct for centuries. Today, that tree is still growing, a living bridge to a world that ended a long time ago. It shows us that life is patient. It shows us that a seed is not just a plant, it is a promise. It is a tiny, time-traveling vessel that carries the hope of the future in its heart. How does water get to the top of a 300-foot redwood tree? If you tried to use a straw to pull water up that high, you couldn't do it. The weight of the water would be too much. But trees do it every day, without a single moving part. This is the mystery of xylem suction. The tree does not pump the water up. It pulls it. As water evaporates from the leaves at the very top, it creates a tiny bit of tension. Because water molecules like to stick together, they form a long, invisible chain that reaches all the way from the leaves down to the roots. When one molecule evaporates at the top, it pulls the next one up, which pulls the next one, all the way down the line. The tree is using the power of the sun to create a vacuum. It is a silent, elegant solution to a massive engineering problem. The tallest trees in the world are held together by the simple stickiness of water. Now, let us leave the forest for a moment. Let the trees fade into the background. We are going to move deeper into the earth and then out toward the sea. As we do, the sounds change. The rustle of leaves becomes a low, steady thrum. This is the Earth's hum. Not the hum of cities or the hum of fish, but the infrasound ring of the planet itself. Scientists have found that the Earth is constantly vibrating at a frequency so low that we cannot hear it. It is like a giant bell that has been struck and is slowly, endlessly ringing. It is caused by the movement of the atmosphere and the constant pounding of ocean waves against the shore. The planet is singing a song that is billions of years old. It is a deep, comforting vibration that connects everything on the surface to the molten heart of the world. As we move out over the ocean, the air grows salty. Beneath the waves, there is a constant, gentle fall. It is called marine snow. It is not made of ice, but of tiny bits of organic matter, dead plankton, scales, and waste. It looks like a blizzard in the deep, dark water. This snow is the lifeline of the deep ocean. It carries energy from the sunlit surface down to the creatures that live in the eternal dark of the abyss. It is a reminder that nothing in nature is wasted. The end of one life becomes the beginning of another. The ocean is fed by a silent, white rain of memories. Sometimes, the sea turns white for a different reason. This is the Milky Sea effect. Sailors for centuries reported seeing the ocean turn a glowing, milky white from horizon to horizon. They said it looked like they were sailing through a field of snow. For a long time, scientists thought it was a myth. But we have seen it from space. It is caused by trillions of bioluminescent bacteria. They all glow at once, creating a light so vast that it can be seen by satellites. Why do they do it? Perhaps to attract fish that will eat them, allowing the bacteria to live inside the fish's gut where it is warm and safe. It is a glow so large that it makes the ocean look like a mirror of the Milky Way. It is a reminder that the smallest things, when they work together, can change the face of the planet. If you walk across certain deserts, the sand will sing to you. This is the mystery of the singing sands. In places like the Sahara or the Gobi, the dunes can produce a low, booming sound that sounds like a choir or a drone. It is caused by friction. When the sand is a very specific size and shape, and it slides down the face of a dune, the grains rub together. They create a vibration that is amplified by the dune itself, which acts like a giant speaker. The sand is not just a pile of dust. It is a musical instrument. It is the Earth's own ancient, desert song, played by the wind and the gravity. Deep underground in Africa, there is a mystery that sounds like it was made in a lab. It is the Oklo reactor. Billions of years ago, a deposit of uranium in the earth became so concentrated, and so much groundwater seeped in, that it started a natural nuclear reaction. It was a natural nuclear power plant. It ran for hundreds of thousands of years, producing heat and energy before it finally ran out of fuel. It shows us that the things we think we have invented, the most advanced technologies, have often already happened in nature. The Earth is the original engineer. It has been experimenting with the laws of physics since the very beginning. In the deep, cold water of the ocean, things grow to an incredible size. This is deep-sea gigantism. There are isopods that look like pill bugs but are the size of a cat. There are squids as long as a bus. There are crabs with a leg span of 12 feet. The mystery is why they grow so large. Part of the answer is the cold. In the freezing water of the deep, animals have a very slow metabolism. They live a long time. And in the dark, where food is scarce, being large can be an advantage. It allows you to travel further and store more energy. The deep ocean is a world of giants, a place where time moves slowly and life expands to fill the silence. But even in the deepest dark, there is heat. This is the mystery of hydrothermal vents. In the 1970s, we found cracks in the ocean floor where boiling hot, mineral-rich water pours out into the sea. Around these vents, we found a world that does not need the sun. Instead of plants using sunlight, the bacteria here use the chemicals from the vents to make food. They feed giant tube worms and ghost white crabs. It is a completely separate tree of life. It shows us that life is not a fragile thing that needs a perfect sunlit garden. Life is a force that will find a way to thrive even in the harshest, darkest corners of the world. It is a powerful, persistent flame. Out on the open ocean, sailors have always feared the rogue wave. These are giant walls of water, up to 100 feet tall, that appear out of nowhere in a relatively calm sea. For a long time, scientists thought they were just tall tales told by frightened sailors. But we caught one on a sensor in 1995. It was real. Rogue waves are caused by wave interference. Sometimes, by pure chance, the energy of several smaller waves combines into one massive peak. They are not caused by storms or earthquakes. They are just a glitch in the ocean's rhythm, a moment where the math of the sea creates a monster. It is a reminder that even in a world governed by laws, there is always room for the unexpected. In the mountains, the lakes are often a brilliant, milky turquoise. This is because of glacial flour. As glaciers move, they grind the rocks beneath them into a fine, silk-like powder. This powder is carried by melting water into the lakes. The powder is so fine that it does not sink. It stays suspended in the water. When the sun hits it, it scatters the light in a way that creates that incredible blue-green color. The beauty of the lake is actually the result of the mountain being ground down. It is a beautiful transformation of destruction into color. It is the Earth's way of painting with the dust of its own bones. Finally, think about the Earth's wobble. The planet does not spin perfectly. It has a tiny shake, like a top that is starting to slow down. This is the Chandler wobble. Every 400 days, the poles of the Earth shift by a few yards. The mystery was what caused it. We now believe it is the changing pressure of the ocean and the atmosphere. The movement of the water and the air is enough to shake the entire planet. It is a small, quiet wobble, but it shows us how everything is connected. The wind, the waves, and the very spin of the Earth are all part of a single, delicate balance. Take a breath. Feel the stillness of the forest floor and the deep rhythm of the sea. The world is a complex, beautiful, and deeply logical place. From the fungal networks that allow trees to talk, to the sand that sings in the desert, to the giant creatures in the deep dark. You are a part of this world. You are a part of its family. You are a part of its math and its mystery. As you drift towards sleep, let the forest hold you. Let the ocean carry you. You do not need to solve the world tonight. The world has already solved itself. Rest your mind. Let the green of the forest and the blue of the sea fill your dreams. You are safe in the arms of a planet that knows exactly what it is doing. Sleep now. The wood wide web is humming. The trees are sleeping. The earth is spinning. And you are home. Good night. Sleep deeply. The wonders of the deep sea are waiting for our next journey, but for now, there is only the quiet and the dark and the peace. Take a long, deep breath. Imagine the air leaving your lungs and drifting out over the sand, past the dunes we walked in our last journey, and toward the vast, rhythmic expanse of the Atlantic. The sound of the forest has faded, replaced by the low, constant pulse of the tide. We are standing on the edge of the world. Ahead of us is a blue horizon that stretches forever, hiding more secrets than all the land on Earth combined. Tonight, we are going to dive. We are going to leave the light of the sun behind and descend into the deep. But do not be afraid. The ocean is not a dark, empty void. It is a world of incredible architecture, silent light, and ancient wisdom. It is the cradle of life, the planet's great temperature regulator, and a place where the laws of physics behave in ways that seem like magic. As we move from the shore into the surf, feel the water rise around you. It is cool and supportive. It holds you. In the ocean, gravity loses its grip. You are weightless. You are part of the great blue heart of the world. The mystery of the blue heart. The first thing we must understand about the ocean is its scale. We live on the blue planet, but we often forget that the ocean makes up 99% of the living space on Earth. We are land creatures living on small islands in a massive water world. In this world, life grows to a size that is almost impossible to comprehend. Let us think about the blue whale. For centuries, sailors saw these massive shadows beneath their ships and whispered of monsters. But the blue whale is no monster, it is a masterpiece of biology. Imagine a heart the size of a bumper car. Imagine a tongue that weighs as much as an entire elephant. Imagine blood vessels so large that a human child could swim through them. This is the reality of the blue whale. But the mystery was always, how does something this big find enough to eat? The answer is a beautiful paradox. The largest animal to ever live survives on one of the smallest. Krill. Tiny, shrimp-like creatures. The whale has no teeth, instead, it has baleen, long, feathery plates made of the same material as your fingernails. It takes a massive gulp of water, then uses its giant tongue to push the water out through the baleen, trapping millions of tiny krill inside. This is the ocean's first lesson, balance. The greatest strength depends on the smallest life. As you drift deeper into sleep, think about that balance. Everything in the ocean is connected in a perfect, delicate web. The twilight zone and the burglar alarm. As we descend deeper, the light begins to change. We leave the sunlight zone and enter the twilight zone, or the mesopelagic layer. Here, the sun is just a faint, ghostly blue glow far above. In this dim world, the mystery of light takes a new form. For a long time, we wondered why so many creatures in the deep glow. We call it bioluminescence. But it isn't just for seeing in the dark. One of the most fascinating solved mysteries is the burglar alarm theory. Imagine a tiny, translucent shrimp being chased by a predator. The shrimp has no way to fight back. So, it does something brilliant. It releases a cloud of glowing blue chemicals. This light doesn't hide the shrimp, it illuminates the predator. By lighting up its attacker, the shrimp is calling the police. It is showing larger predators exactly where the attacker is. In the chaos that follows, the little shrimp slips away into the dark. The deep ocean is a theater of light. There are fish with glowing lures, squid that shoot light instead of ink, and jellyfish that look like floating neon signs. It is not a place of darkness. It is a place where life makes its own stars. The mystery of the SOFAR channel. Sound behaves differently under the waves. In the air, sound travels about 700 miles per hour. But in the water, it travels 4 times faster. And in a very specific layer of the ocean, it can travel forever. In the 1940s, scientists discovered the SOFAR channel, sound fixing and ranging. It is a layer of water about 2,000 to 4,000 feet deep where the temperature and pressure create a sort of acoustic lens. In this channel, sound waves get trapped. They don't bounce off the surface or the bottom, they just keep going. A whale singing in the Sofar Channel off the coast of Africa can be heard by a whale off the coast of South America. It is the Earth's original internet. For millions of years, whales have used this sound pipe to talk across entire oceans. When we first dropped microphones into the deep, we were stunned by the noise. It wasn't silence we found, but a global conversation. The mystery of how whales found each other in the vastness of the sea was solved by physics. The Earth provided them with a long-distance telephone line. As you listen to the quiet of your room, imagine those songs traveling through the deep, thousands of miles of music moving through the heavy, blue water. The waterfall beneath the sea. If I told you there was a waterfall in the middle of the ocean, you might not believe me. But off the coast of Mauritius, there is a sight that has baffled travelers for generations. From the air, it looks like a massive, plunging cataract of water falling into a deep, dark abyss in the middle of the turquoise sea. For a long time, it was a mystery. How could water fall inside water? The answer is an optical illusion, but a beautiful one. It is not the water that is falling, it is the sand. The island of Mauritius sits on an ocean shelf. Strong currents push sand off the edge of the shelf into the deeper water below. The movement of the sand creates the perfect visual image of a waterfall. It is a reminder that the ocean is always moving, always sculpting. The waterfall is a sign of the Earth's constant renewal, a silent river of silt moving into the deep to eventually become new rock. The Bermuda Triangle, mystery solved. We cannot talk about the ocean without mentioning the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, it was the ultimate mystery. Ships disappearing, compasses spinning, planes vanishing into thin air. People talked about wormholes, aliens, and the lost city of Atlantis. But when we looked at the data, the mystery dissolved into science. First, Lloyd's of London, the famous insurance market, found that ships do not disappear in the Bermuda Triangle any more frequently than they do in any other busy part of the ocean. It is a high-traffic area, and accidents happen. But what about the spinning compasses? That was solved by geography. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align. To a navigator who doesn't know this, it looks like the compass is malfunctioning. And the sudden disappearances? We found the answer in the geology of the sea floor. The area is rich in methane hydrates. Sometimes, massive bubbles of methane gas can erupt from the seafloor. When a giant gas bubble hits the surface, it reduces the density of the water. A ship sitting on top of that bubble would lose its buoyancy and sink instantly, like a rock in a glass of soda. The mystery wasn't magic. It was chemistry and math. The ocean is not out to get us, it just has a very complex set of rules. The whale fall, an oasis in the desert. The deep ocean floor is often called a biological desert. There is no sunlight, so there are no plants. Food is incredibly scarce. But then, a miracle happens. A whale dies. When a whale dies, its body eventually sinks to the bottom. This is called a whale fall. And in the deep, it is the equivalent of a city-sized buffet arriving from the sky. The mystery was how life could survive in the barren depths for so long between these events. We found that a single whale fall can support an entire ecosystem for 70 to 100 years. Stage 1, scavengers like hagfish and sharks arrive to eat the soft tissue. Stage 2, tiny crustaceans and worms move in to live in the enriched sediment around the carcass. Stage 3, this is the most amazing part. A specific type of bone-eating worm, called ostax, arrives. These worms have no mouths and no stomachs. They use acid to dissolve the bone and live off the fats inside with the help of bacteria. The whale fall is a solved mystery of survival. It shows us that in the ocean, even death is a gift. A single life can provide for thousands of others for a century. It is a beautiful, slow-motion cycle of grace. The finger of death, brinicles. In the freezing waters of the Antarctic, there is a phenomenon that looks like something from a fantasy novel. It is called a brinicle, or the finger of death. When sea ice forms, the salt is pushed out of the ice, creating a super salty, super cold brine. This brine is much denser than the surrounding seawater, so it begins to sink. As it sinks, it freezes the fresher water around it, creating a hollow tube of ice that grows downward toward the seafloor. When it touches the bottom, it doesn't stop. It spreads out across the seabed, freezing everything it touches, starfish, sea urchins, and small crabs, in a web of ice. It was a mystery how these structures formed without being broken by currents. But we found that the very saltiness that creates them also stabilizes them. It is a reminder that the ocean is a place of extreme chemistry. Even a finger of death is just the earth balancing its salt and its cold. The Kraken is real. For thousands of years, sailors told stories of the Kraken, a monster with tentacles that could pull a ship under. For a long time, scientists dismissed these as hallucinations or exaggerations. But the mystery of the Kraken was solved in 1873, and then again more recently. The Kraken is real, but it is a giant squid, Architeuthis stux. These creatures can grow to be 50 feet long. They have eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes of any animal on Earth, to help them see the faint bioluminescent flashes of their prey in the deep dark. They have been found with scars from the beaks of sperm whales, their only true enemy. The Kraken isn't a monster, it's an inhabitant of a world we are only just beginning to visit. It doesn't want to pull ships down. It just wants to live in the quiet, high-pressure depths where it belongs. The mystery was solved not by finding a monster, but by finding a neighbor we didn't know we had. The mystery of ocean salt. Why is the sea salty? If the rain that falls into it is fresh, and the rivers that flow into it are fresh, shouldn't the ocean become less salty over time? This was a mystery for centuries. We finally solved it by looking at the rocks. Rain is slightly acidic because it picks up carbon dioxide from the air. When it falls on land, it slowly erodes the rocks, breaking them down into ions, mostly sodium and chloride. These ions are carried by rivers into the sea. But that's only half the story. The other half happens at the bottom of the ocean. Hydrothermal vents and underwater volcanoes also pump minerals and salts into the water. The ocean isn't getting saltier, though. It has reached a state of steady state. The Earth has a way of removing salt as well. Some of it gets trapped in the cracks of the seafloor, and some of it is used by sea creatures to build their shells and skeletons. The salt in the sea is a perfect record of the Earth's geological history. It is the flavor of the planet's transformation. The Great Ocean Conveyor Belt. The ocean is not a stagnant pool. It is a moving system, a giant conveyor belt that circles the globe. This mystery, how the ocean regulates the temperature of the whole planet, was solved by understanding thermohaline circulation. In the North Atlantic, the water is cold and salty, which makes it very heavy. This water sinks deep down, near the ocean floor, and begins a journey south. It travels all the way to Antarctica, then loops into the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Eventually, it warms up, rises to the surface, and flows back toward the North Atlantic as a warm current. A single drop of water takes about 1,000 years to complete this journey. Think about that as you drift off. There is a drop of water right now, deep in the dark, that started its journey when the Vikings were sailing. It is moving slowly, silently, carrying the warmth of the tropics to the cold of the north. The ocean is the Earth's heartbeat, slow and steady, keeping the climate in balance. The blue hole of Belize. In the middle of the lighthouse reef off the coast of Belize, there is a perfect, dark blue circle in the water. It is over 1,000 feet wide and 400 feet deep. It looks like a giant pupil in the eye of the ocean. For a long time, people thought it was a bottomless pit or a portal. But divers, led by Jacques Cousteau, solved the mystery. The Great Blue Hole is a vertical cave. Thousands of years ago, during the Ice Age, the sea level was much lower. This area was a massive limestone cave on dry land. Over time, the roof of the cave collapsed, creating a sinkhole. When the ice melted and the sea level rose, the ocean filled the hole. Deep inside, divers have found giant stalactites, stone icicles that can only form on dry land where water drips from a ceiling. This solved mystery tells us a story of a different Earth, a time when the world was colder and the map was different. It is a monument to the planet's history, preserved in blue water. The Maelstrom. In the North Sea, near the coast of Norway, there is a legend of the Maelstrom, a giant whirlpool that sucks ships down to the bottom. Edgar Allan Poe and Jules Verne wrote terrifying stories about it. The mystery: is it a real ship-eater? The answer is yes and no. The Saltstraumen and the Moskstraumen are real. They are the strongest tidal currents in the world. They are not caused by a hole in the bottom of the sea, but by the tide being forced through a narrow strait between islands. When the tide changes, a massive volume of water tries to squeeze through a small opening. This creates powerful vortices. While they aren't going to swallow a modern ship, for ancient wooden boats, they were a very real and terrifying danger. The monster was just the physics of the tide, a reminder that the moon's pull on our planet is a force of incredible power. The Argonaut and the Shell. There is a creature in the ocean called the Argonaut, or the paper nautilus. For a long time, it was a mystery. It looks like an octopus living in a beautiful, delicate shell. But octopuses don't have shells. People thought the Argonaut was a thief, like a hermit crab, stealing shells from other animals. But we solved the mystery by watching them grow. The Argonaut doesn't steal its shell, it grows it. But it's not a real shell in the biological sense. Only the females make them, and they use them as a brood chamber to protect their eggs. What's even more amazing is how they move. They use the shell to trap a bubble of air from the surface, which they use to maintain their buoyancy at a specific depth. It is a biological submarine. The mystery of the thief was replaced by the reality of a brilliant engineer. The mystery of the coelacanth. For millions of years, there was a fish called the coelacanth. We knew it only from fossils. We were certain it had gone extinct 65 million years ago, at the same time as the dinosaurs. Then, in 1938, a fisherman in South Africa caught one. It was a biological earthquake. How could a creature stay hidden for 65 million years? The coelacanth is a living fossil. It has solved the mystery of survival by simply not changing. It lives in the deep, stable environments of underwater caves where the conditions haven't changed in eons. It has fleshy, limb-like fins that look like they are starting to turn into legs. It is a glimpse into our own past, a cousin from the time when life first started to crawl out of the sea. The ocean is a time machine. It keeps the past alive in its quiet corners. The deepest silence, the Mariana Trench. Finally, we reach the bottom. 7 miles down. The Mariana Trench. At this depth, the pressure is over 8 tons per square inch. It is like having an elephant stand on your thumb. For a long time, we believed nothing could live here. The mystery of the abyss was the mystery of the void. But when we sent cameras down, we found life. We found the snailfish. A translucent, delicate-looking fish that thrives under pressure that would crush a steel submarine. How? Their bodies have solved the mystery of the big squish. They have no air pockets. Their bones are made of flexible cartilage. Their cells have special molecules that prevent their proteins from being crushed. In the deepest, darkest, most high-pressure place on Earth, there is peace. There is life. There is a quiet, rhythmic existence that doesn't care about the sun or the wind. It is the ultimate sanctuary. The transition to the infinite. As we sit here at the bottom of the ocean, looking at the soft, pale shapes of the deep sea life, we realize something. The ocean is a mirror. The way the bioluminescent fish glow in the dark is very similar to the way stars glow in the night sky. The way the SOFAR channel carries sound through the water is like the way gravity carries light through the vacuum of space. We have explored the surface, the forests, and the deep blue. But there is a greater mystery waiting for us. Because the same laws of physics that govern the water also govern the stars. The atoms that make up the salt in the sea were born in the same explosions that created the galaxies. As you feel your body settle deeper into your bed, imagine the water around you slowly fading away. The pressure lifts. The blue light turns to black. But it is not a cold blackness. It is a warm, velvet darkness filled with distant, shimmering lights. The ocean was our cradle, but the stars are our horizon. We have solved the mysteries of the earth, but the universe is calling. Take one more deep breath. You are safe. You are buoyant. You are drifting away from the ocean floor, rising past the twilight zone, past the sunlit surface, and into the cool, silent air. Tomorrow, we will look up. We will look at the scale of the cosmos, the mystery of time, and the solved riddles of the planets. We will see how the Earth is just a tiny, beautiful blue marble floating in an ocean of stars. But for now, just drift. The tide is taking you into sleep. The conveyor belt of the world is carrying you into your dreams. Sleep well. Sleep deeply. The stars are waiting. Close your eyes. Leave the weight of the ocean behind. Feel the heavy, blue pressure of the deep sea dissipate as you rise, lighter than a bubble, through the surface and into the cool night air. The salt spray fades. The sound of the crashing waves becomes a distant, rhythmic hum. You are lying on your back now, in a field of tall, soft grass. The air is perfectly still. Above you, the sky has opened up into a vast, velvet canopy, shimmering with a trillion points of light. Tonight, we are leaving the cradle of Earth. We are stepping out into the infinite. We are going to look at the clockwork of the cosmos. For as long as humans have possessed the spark of curiosity, we have looked up and felt small. We have seen the stars and called them gods, or spirits, or holes in the floor of heaven. We have seen the moon change its shape and feared it was a sign of doom. We have seen the sun disappear in the middle of the day and thought the world was ending. But the universe is not a place of chaos. It is a place of absolute, beautiful order. It is a grand machine of gravity, light, and time. Every star you see has a reason for being there. Every planet follows a path as precise as a heartbeat. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, we will take the mysteries that once terrified our ancestors and see them for what they truly are, the elegant gears of a cosmic clock. The mystery of the solar eclipse. Imagine you are standing in an ancient field 3,000 years ago. It is the middle of a bright, hot afternoon. Suddenly, a chill enters the air. The birds stop singing. The crickets begin to chirp as if it were dusk. And then, you look up. A black bite is being taken out of the sun. Within minutes, the sun is gone, replaced by a black hole in the sky surrounded by a ghostly, shimmering crown of white fire. To the ancient world, this was the ultimate terror. They believed a dragon was eating the sun, or that the gods were angry. They beat drums and screamed to frighten the shadow away. But the mystery of the eclipse is actually a story of perfect geometry. It is a cosmic coincidence so beautiful it almost seems planned. The sun is about 400 times larger than the moon. However, the sun is also about 400 times farther away from Earth than the moon is. Because of this ratio, the sun and the moon appear to be the exact same size in our sky. An eclipse is simply the moon passing between us and the sun, casting a tiny, moving shadow on the Earth. It is a moment of perfect alignment, a click in the cosmic clockwork. The white fire you see around the black circle is the sun's corona, its outer atmosphere, which is usually invisible because the sun is so bright. The mystery wasn't a dragon, it was just the moon taking its place in a grand shadow play. As you relax, imagine that shadow passing over you, bringing a cool, temporary peace to the world. The music of the spheres. For centuries, philosophers like Pythagoras believed in the musica universalis, the music of the spheres. They believed that the planets, as they moved through space, created a literal harmony that humans just couldn't hear. While space is a vacuum and sound cannot travel through it like it does in the ocean, we have found that the ancients were partly right. Everything in the universe vibrates. Planets have magnetic fields that interact with solar winds, creating radio waves. When NASA scientists converted these waves into sound, they found that every planet has a voice. Jupiter sounds like a deep, underwater cavern, full of roars and whistles. Saturn sounds like a haunted, ethereal choir. Earth sounds like a gentle, rhythmic hum of birds and wind. The mystery of the music was solved by physics. The universe isn't silent, it is a symphony of energy. The planets are humming as they spin, each one contributing its own note to the silence of the void. You are part of that symphony. Your atoms are vibrating in sync with the pulse of the Earth. The wandering stars, retrograde motion. If you watched the night sky every night for a year, you would notice something strange about Mars. Most of the time, it moves steadily in one direction across the stars. But every 2 years, it seems to slow down, stop, and move backward for a few weeks before turning around again. The Greeks called these wandering stars, or planets. This backward movement, called retrograde motion, was a massive mystery. They built incredibly complex models of circles within circles to try to explain why a planet would change its mind and go the wrong way. The solution was far simpler. It is an illusion of perspective. Imagine you are in a fast car on a highway, passing a slower car. For a few seconds, as you pull alongside and move ahead, the slower car looks like it is moving backward relative to the trees in the distance. Earth is on the inside lane of the solar system. We move faster than Mars. When we pass Mars in our orbit, it looks like it's moving backward. It's a cosmic trick of the eye. The clockwork is perfect. We are just seeing it from a moving platform. There is no chaos in the movement of the planets, only the steady, relentless march of gravity. The rings of Saturn, a shattered moon. When Galileo first looked at Saturn through a telescope in 1610, he was baffled. He said the planet had ears. Later, astronomers thought it was a solid disk. The mystery was, how could a planet have a giant, flat halo that never fell down? We eventually solved the mystery by sending cameras to see. The rings are not solid. They are made of billions of pieces of ice and rock, some as small as a grain of sugar, others as large as a mountain. Where did they come from? The most likely answer is a tragedy of gravity. Billions of years ago, a moon or a large comet got too close to Saturn. It passed the Roche limit, the point where Saturn's gravity becomes so strong that it pulls harder on the front of a moon than the back. The moon was literally torn apart. The rings are the beautiful, glittering remains of a shattered world. They stay in place because of shepherd moons, tiny moons that sit inside the rings and use their gravity to keep the ice particles in line, like a collie herding sheep. Saturn is a lesson in how the universe recycles its broken pieces into something breathtakingly beautiful. The red spot, the storm that never ends. On the face of Jupiter, there is a giant, red eye. It is the Great Red Spot. It is twice as wide as the entire Earth. It has been visible for at least 300 years, and likely much longer. The mystery was, how can a storm last for centuries? On Earth, a hurricane dies within days because it hits land, which creates friction and cuts off its power. But Jupiter has no land. It is a gas giant. The Great Red Spot is a high-pressure storm that sits between two jet streams moving in opposite directions. These winds spin the storm like a ball bearing between two conveyor belts. Because there is no solid ground to slow it down, and the heat from Jupiter's core provides a constant source of energy, the storm simply keeps spinning. It is a reminder of the scale of the cosmos. Our entire world could fit inside that one storm. Yet, even something that massive and powerful is governed by the simple laws of fluid dynamics. It is a predictable, stable part of the planet's weather. The mystery of the moon's face. Have you ever noticed that we always see the same side of the moon? Whether you are in New York, London, or Tokyo, the man in the moon always looks the same. We never see the back. For a long time, people thought the moon didn't spin at all. But if it didn't spin, we would see the other side as it went around us. The solution is tidal locking. The Earth's gravity has been pulling on the moon for billions of years. Over time, this pull acted like a brake on the moon's rotation. Today, the moon spins exactly once for every one time it orbits the Earth. It is a perfect synchronization. The moon is locked in a permanent embrace with the Earth, always facing us, like a dancer never taking their eyes off their partner. This is why the dark side of the moon was such a mystery until we sent satellites to see it. It isn't actually dark, it gets just as much sunlight as the side we see. We just never see it from home. The moon is our constant, loyal companion, held in place by the invisible hands of gravity. The Star of Bethlehem, a cosmic conjunction. For 2,000 years, people have wondered about the Star of Bethlehem. Was it a miracle? Was it a myth? Astronomers have looked back at the clockwork of the sky and found a scientific possibility. In the year 7 BCE, there was a rare event, a triple conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. The two largest planets in the solar system lined up so perfectly that they would have appeared as a single, incredibly bright light in the sky. To the ancient observers, who were master astronomers, this wouldn't have been a random light. Jupiter was the planet of kings, and Saturn was the planet of the harvest and destiny. Their alignment in the constellation of Pisces was a rare sentence written in the stars. The mystery of the star wasn't a hole in the laws of physics. It was the laws of physics creating a rare, spectacular moment of beauty. It shows us that even the most ancient stories are often rooted in the predictable movements of the heavens. The mystery of the shooting star. As you lie in the grass in your mind, you see a streak of light across the sky. A shooting star. You make a wish. But the mystery of the shooting star is even more romantic than a wish. It isn't a star at all. It is a grain of sand. As the Earth moves through space, it occasionally passes through the debris left behind by a comet. These tiny pieces of rock and ice hit our atmosphere at 40,000 miles per hour. At that speed, the friction with the air creates so much heat that the rock vaporizes in a flash of light. Most shooting stars are no bigger than a piece of dust. They are tiny travelers from the outer solar system, coming home to Earth after billions of years of wandering. They are the exhaust of the solar system, burning up to protect the world below. Every streak of light is a reminder that the atmosphere is a shield, keeping us safe while we sleep. The color of the stars. Look up at the stars again. They all look white at first glance. But look closer. Some are slightly blue. Others are pale yellow. A few are distinctively red. For a long time, we thought stars were just different colors of fire. But fire on Earth needs oxygen. There is no oxygen in space. The mystery of star color was solved by the laws of thermodynamics. A star's color tells you its temperature. It is like a piece of metal in a forge. Red stars are the coolest, around 3,000 degrees. Yellow stars, like our sun, are in the middle, around 6,000 degrees. Blue stars are the hottest, blazing at over 20,000 degrees. The color is a code. By looking at a star's light through a prism, we can tell not only how hot it is, but what it is made of. We found that stars are made of the same things we are: hydrogen, helium, carbon, and oxygen. The mystery of the heavenly fire was solved by realizing that the stars and the Earth are made of the same building blocks. Why is the night sky black? Olber's paradox. This is one of the most profound solved mysteries in history. It seems like a silly question. The sky is black because the sun is gone, right? But if the universe is infinite and it is full of trillions of stars, then no matter which direction you look, your line of sight should eventually hit a star. The entire night sky should be as bright as the surface of the sun. It should be a solid wall of light. This is Olber's paradox. And the solution teaches us the two most important facts about our universe. The universe had a beginning. The light from the most distant stars hasn't had enough time to reach us yet. We are still waiting for the sky to fill up with light. The universe is expanding. Because the universe is stretching, the light from distant galaxies is being redshifted. It is being stretched into longer and longer wavelengths until it becomes infrared, which our eyes cannot see. The night is black because the universe is young and it is growing. The darkness is not an empty space, it is a curtain of time. It is a sign that the story of the cosmos is still being written. The pillars of creation, star factories. Deep in the Eagle Nebula, there are towering clouds of gas and dust that look like giant fingers reaching out into the void. We call them the pillars of creation. The mystery, what are they creating? Inside these clouds, gravity is pulling gas together into tight, hot balls. When the ball gets hot enough, it ignites, nuclear fusion begins. A star is born. The pillars are the nurseries of the universe. But here is the strange part, we have solved the mystery of their future. Because light takes time to travel, we are seeing the pillars as they were 7,000 years ago. Astronomers believe a nearby supernova, an exploding star, likely knocked them down 6,000 years ago. We are looking at a ghost of a masterpiece. The pillars might already be gone, but their light is still traveling to us, telling us the story of how we were made. We are made of that same star stuff. Every atom in your body was once inside a cloud just like that. The mystery of the Martian canals. In the late 1800s, an astronomer named Percival Lowell looked at Mars and saw a network of straight lines. He believed they were canals built by a dying civilization to bring water from the poles to the desert cities. The world became obsessed with Martians. The mystery was solved by better telescopes and, eventually, space probes. There are no canals. What Lowell saw was an illusion created by the human brain. When we look at a collection of random dots through a blurry lens, like a 19th century telescope, our brains connect the dots to form straight lines. We are programmed to find patterns where there are none. Mars is a desert world of giant volcanoes and deep canyons, but it is empty. The canals were just a reflection of our own desire to not be alone in the universe. It is a reminder to trust the data, but to also cherish our imagination. The Great Attractor. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is moving. It isn't just spinning, it is traveling through space at 1.3 million miles per hour. And we are moving toward a specific point in the sky. For a long time, we didn't know what was pulling us. We called it the Great Attractor. The mystery was hidden because the center of our own galaxy was in the way, blocking our view with dust and stars. But using X-ray and infrared telescopes, we looked behind the Milky Way. We found a massive supercluster of galaxies, thousands of them, whose combined gravity is so strong it is pulling everything in our neighborhood toward it. The universe is a giant web of gravity. We are all being pulled toward a grand, distant center. It isn't a scary thing, it's a sense of direction. Even in the infinite void, we are going somewhere. We are part of a cosmic flow. The mystery of black holes. For a long time, black holes were just a mathematical nightmare. Einstein's equations suggested that if you pack enough matter into a small enough space, gravity becomes so strong that even light cannot escape. People thought this was impossible. Nature wouldn't do that, they said. But we have seen them. We have photographed the event horizon, the point of no return. A black hole is not a hole in the sense of a vacuum cleaner. It is a place where gravity has won. But here is the solved mystery: black holes are not evil. They are the anchors of galaxies. There is a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way, called Sagittarius' star. Its massive gravity helps hold the hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy together. Without the black hole at the center, the galaxy would fly apart. The monster in the dark is actually the glue that keeps us home. The pulsar, the universe's lighthouse. In 1967, a student named Jocelyn Bell found a radio signal from space that pulsed with perfect regularity. Every 1.3 seconds. Beep. 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 She originally called it LGM-1, Little Green Men. She thought she had found an alien beacon. But the mystery was solved by understanding the death of stars. When a large star explodes, its core can collapse into a neutron star. These stars are incredibly dense, a teaspoon would weigh 1 billion tons, and they spin very fast. As they spin, they blast out a beam of radiation from their poles, like a lighthouse. If that beam happens to sweep past the Earth, we hear it as a pulse. A pulsar. It wasn't an alien message. It was a cosmic clock. These stars are so precise that we can use them to navigate through space. They are the lighthouses of the universe, guiding us through the dark. The mystery of the Voyager Golden Record. In 1977, we launched 2 probes, Voyager 1 and 2. They are now the farthest human-made objects in existence, billions of miles away in the space between stars. On their sides, they carry a golden record. It contains sounds of Earth, music from Bach to Chuck Berry, and greetings in 55 languages. The mystery: who is it for? The designers solved this mystery with a beautiful thought. The record isn't really for aliens. The chances of it being found are almost zero. The record is a message in a bottle for us. It is a way of saying, this is who we were. We were capable of music. We were capable of love. We reached for the stars. As you fall asleep, think of Voyager. It is out there in the quiet, carrying the sound of a heartbeat and a mother's kiss into the infinite dark. It is a part of us that will live forever, long after the Earth is gone. Dark matter, the invisible scaffolding. If you weigh all the stars, gas, and dust in a galaxy, it isn't enough. There isn't enough gravity to hold the galaxy together. By all the laws of physics, galaxies should be flying apart like spinning pizza dough. The mystery: what is the missing mass? We call it dark matter. We can't see it. It doesn't reflect light. It doesn't emit heat. But we know it's there because we can see its gravity pulling on the stars. We realize that the normal matter, everything we can see, touch, and smell, makes up only 5% of the universe. The rest is this invisible scaffolding. The universe is like a giant Christmas tree. The stars are the lights, but dark matter is the tree itself. It is the hidden structure that holds everything together. It is a reminder that the most important things in life are often the ones we cannot see. The Goldilocks zone. Why are we here? Why is Earth full of liquid water and life, while Venus is a furnace and Mars is a freezer? The mystery of life's location was solved by the Goldilocks zone. It is the distance from a star where it is not too hot and not too cold. If we were 5% closer to the sun, our oceans would boil away. If we were 5% farther, they would freeze solid. We are in the perfect, narrow band where liquid water, the magic ingredient of life, can exist. But the mystery goes deeper. We have found that there are billions of planets in the Goldilocks zones of other stars. The perfect spot isn't a miracle, it's a mathematical certainty. The universe is full of potential homes. We are just the ones who happen to wake up in this one. The expansion of time. Einstein taught us something that sounds like a mystery but is a proven fact. Time is not the same for everyone. If you take a very precise atomic clock and put it on a mountain top, and keep another one at sea level, the clock on the mountain will tick faster. Gravity slows down time. If you were to travel near a black hole for an hour and then come back to Earth, years would have passed. This is time dilation. This means that time is not a fixed background. It is a fabric. It can be stretched and squeezed. It means that now is a relative term. As you drift to sleep, imagine time as a soft, stretching blanket. It isn't a ticking clock, it's a flowing river. You are floating on that river, moving at your own perfect pace. The Big Bang, the echo of the beginning. How did it all start? For a long time, we thought the universe had always existed. But in 1964, two scientists were working on a radio antenna and kept hearing a persistent hiss in the background. They cleaned the antenna, they moved it, but the hiss was everywhere. In every direction. They had found the cosmic microwave background radiation. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang. The mystery of the beginning was solved by an echo. 13.8 billion years ago, everything, every star, every planet, every atom in your body was squeezed into a point smaller than an atom. Then, it expanded. The hiss in the radio was the sound of the universe still cooling down from that first second. We are living inside the explosion. We are the leftovers of the beginning of time. It is a grand, sweeping story, and you are on page 13 billion. The transition to the infinite small. As we stand here in our minds, looking out at the galaxies and the black holes and the ancient echoes of the Big Bang, we realize a final truth. The vastness of the universe is mirrored in the vastness of the tiny. The way a planet orbits a star is almost exactly like the way an electron orbits the nucleus of an atom. The empty space between stars is mirrored by the empty space inside your own cells. The clockwork of the cosmos is not just out there, it is in here. You are a universe in miniature. As the stars beginning to fade into a soft, white glow, imagine yourself shrinking down. Leave the galaxies behind. Leave the sun behind. We are moving from the infinite large to the infinite small. We are going to look at the solved mysteries of the world you cannot see. The world of atoms, the world of light, and the world of the very building blocks of reality. The same gravity that holds the moon is the same force that keeps your feet on the ground. The same light that travels from the edge of time is the same light that will wake you up tomorrow morning. Take a final, deep breath of the starlit air. The sky is a beautiful, solved puzzle. The clock is ticking perfectly. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Tomorrow, we will explore the mysteries of the subatomic. We will look at the ghosts in the machine of reality. But for now, just let the stars tuck you in. Let the vacuum of space be a warm, silent quilt. Sleep well. Sleep deeply. The universe is watching over you. Take a deep, slow breath. Imagine yourself shrinking. Leave the vast, cold vacuum of space and the giant, spinning planets behind. We are coming back home, but we aren't stopping at the surface. We are going deeper. We are traveling past the skin, past the cells, down into the very fabric of what you are made of. Tonight, we explore the quantum heart. We are going to look at the mysteries of the invisible world, the world of the very, very small. For a long time, scientists thought that if they could just understand the smallest building block of matter, they would understand everything. They thought the universe was like a giant Lego set. But when they finally peered inside, they found something far more mysterious, far more beautiful, and far more rhythmic than they ever imagined. As you settle into your bed, feel the weight of your body. You feel solid. You feel real. But tonight, we will learn that you are actually made of shimmering waves, empty space, and stardust held together by invisible songs. These are the solved mysteries of the quantum world. The mystery of the empty solid. If you were to touch a table, it feels hard. If you tap your knuckles against a wall, it resists you. For thousands of years, we believed that matter was solid. We thought atoms were like tiny billiard balls packed tightly together. But the mystery was solved by a man named Ernest Rutherford. He fired tiny particles at a thin sheet of gold. If the gold were solid, the particles should have bounced back. Instead, most of them flew straight through, like they were passing through thin air. He discovered that an atom is 99.999% empty space. To visualize this, imagine an atom as the size of a vast football stadium. The nucleus, the center, would be the size of a single marble sitting on the 50-yard line. The electrons would be like tiny gnats buzzing around the very top row of the stands. Everything in between is absolutely nothing. The mystery then is, why don't you fall through your floor? Why does the chair hold you up? The answer is not solidity, but force. The electrons in your body are pushing against the electrons in the chair. It is an invisible field of repulsion. You are not sitting on a chair, you are levitating a microscopic distance above it on a cushion of electrical force. As you drift off, feel that lightness. You are a cloud of energy, perfectly supported by the fields of the earth. The wave-particle duality, the mystery of character. One of the greatest mysteries in the history of science was the nature of light. Is it a particle, a little bullet of energy? Or is it a wave, like a ripple in a pond? For a century, scientists argued. Some experiments proved it was a particle. Others proved it was a wave. The mystery was finally solved by realizing that light, and everything else, including you, is both. Think of it like a person. Sometimes you are a particle, you are a single individual, standing in a room, taking up space. Other times, you are a wave, your influence, your voice, and your presence spread out through a room and touch everyone. In the quantum world, an electron travels like a wave, spreading out and exploring all possible paths. But the moment it hits something, it collapses and acts like a particle. This tells us that the universe is not made of things, but of possibilities. You are a collection of infinite possibilities, held in a beautiful, stable form. The mystery of the color of gold. We talked about gold being born in the stars, but for a long time, there was a mystery closer to home. Why is gold yellow? Most metals are silver or gray. According to the standard laws of chemistry, gold should be silver too. The mystery was solved by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Because the nucleus of a gold atom is so heavy and has so much positive charge, the electrons circling it have to move incredibly fast, about half the speed of light, to keep from being sucked in. At those speeds, relativity kicks in. The mass of the electrons increases, and their orbits change. This change affects how the atom absorbs light. It begins to absorb blue light and reflect yellow light. The color of a gold ring is actually a visible proof of Einstein's theory. It is a piece of cosmic physics sitting on your finger. It is a reminder that even the colors we see are the result of the universe's most extreme laws working in perfect harmony. Entanglement, the mystery of the spooky action. Albert Einstein once called this spooky action at a distance. Imagine two particles that are created at the same time. They are entangled. If you send one to the other side of the galaxy and keep one here on Earth, they remain connected. If you tickle one, the other one laughs. Instantly. Faster than the speed of light. For a long time, this was a mystery that seemed to break the laws of the universe. How can information travel that fast? The solved mystery is that they aren't actually sending information. They are still part of the same wave function. They are not two separate things, they are one thing stretched across the universe. This teaches us a profound lesson about the beginning of time. At the moment of the Big Bang, everything was connected. Everything was entangled. That means, in a very real, scientific way, you are still connected to the farthest star in the sky. You are not a lonely island. You are part of a giant, invisible web of light. The mystery of the sun's fire, quantum tunneling. The sun is a mystery of heat and pressure. At its core, it is so hot that atoms should crash into each other and fuse together, releasing energy. But when scientists did the math, they found a problem. The sun isn't actually hot enough. According to classical physics, the hydrogen atoms in the sun don't have enough energy to overcome their natural repulsion. They should just bounce off each other. The sun should never have turned on. The mystery was solved by quantum tunneling. Because atoms act like waves, they don't have a fixed position. They have a smear of positions. Occasionally, an atom will tunnel through the invisible wall of repulsion and pop out on the other side, inside the other atom. It's like a ghost walking through a wall. Without this glitch in the laws of physics, the sun would be a cold ball of gas. There would be no light, no warmth, and no life. We exist because the universe allows for a little bit of magic at the smallest level. As you sleep, think of that warmth. It is the result of trillions of tiny ghosts merging together to keep you warm. The mystery of the butterfly effect. We often hear that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil can cause a tornado in Texas. This is the mystery of chaos theory. For a long time, we thought we could predict the future if we just had a big enough computer. But we discovered that the universe is nonlinear. Small changes don't just lead to small results, they can lead to massive ones. The mystery was solved by understanding the sensitivity to initial conditions. The Earth's weather, the flow of water, and even the beat of your heart are all part of a chaotic system. But chaos in science doesn't mean a mess. It means a very complex pattern. If you look at a chaotic system long enough, you see an attractor, a beautiful, butterfly-shaped pattern that the system always follows. The world is unpredictable in the short term, but it is deeply stable in the long term. You don't need to know what will happen tomorrow to know that the sun will rise and the seasons will change. You are safe within the pattern. Why the sky is dark, the neutrino mystery. Every second, trillions of tiny particles called neutrinos pass through your body. They come from the sun, from distant supernovae, and from the Big Bang itself. They are so small and move so fast that they can pass through a light year of solid lead without hitting anything. For decades, we had a mystery. We could only find 1/3 of the neutrinos we expected to see from the sun. Scientists thought their models of the sun were wrong. The mystery was solved by discovering that neutrinos are shapeshifters. As they travel through space, they oscillate. They change from one type of neutrino into another. By the time they reach Earth, they have changed their clothes so many times that our old detectors couldn't see them. The universe is full of invisible travelers. Even in the total darkness of your room, you are being showered by the ghost light of distant stars. You are never in a vacuum, you are always in a river of cosmic energy. The mystery of the magnet. We all played with magnets as children. They feel like magic. You can feel the pull, the invisible hand reaching out. But how does a piece of metal reach out across space? The mystery of magnetism was solved by understanding electron spin. In most materials, the electrons spin in random directions, and their tiny magnetic fields cancel each other out. But in a magnet, like iron, the electrons all line up. They all spin in the same direction. When trillions of tiny electrons all sing the same note, it creates a field that can move objects. Magnetism is just the unified voice of the atoms. It is a reminder of the power of alignment. When things move in the same direction, they can change the world around them. Your own body has its own magnetic field, a quiet, protective aura that is part of the Earth's larger field. The mystery of the gecko's feet. If you look at a gecko, it can walk up a pane of glass or across a ceiling. It has no glue on its feet. It has no suction cups. How does it defy gravity? The mystery was solved by looking at the van der Waals forces. The gecko's feet are covered in millions of tiny, hair-like structures called setae. These hairs are so small that they interact with the molecules of the glass at a quantum level. The electrons in the gecko's feet and the electrons in the glass create a tiny, temporary attraction. It is the sticky power of the quantum world. The gecko is literally holding on to the atoms of the ceiling. It shows us that even the most impressive feats of nature are built on the smallest, most subtle forces. There is strength in the tiny. The mystery of absolute zero. What happens when things get cold? They slow down. For a long time, scientists wondered what would happen if we could reach absolute zero, the temperature where all motion stops. They found that it is impossible to reach absolute zero, but as we get close, the world turns into a quantum liquid. In a substance called a Bose-Einstein condensate, the atoms get so cold and move so slowly that they lose their individual identity. They all overlap and become one single superatom. They act in perfect unison. The mystery of individual versus group is solved at the bottom of the thermometer. At our coldest, most quiet point, we are all one. It is a peaceful thought for sleep, the idea that beneath all the noise and heat of the day, there is a fundamental state of perfect, unified stillness. The mystery of the clock, atomic time. How do we know what time it is? We used to look at the sun, then at pendulums, then at vibrating quartz. But those things all change. The Earth's rotation slows down. Pendulums are affected by gravity. The mystery of true time was solved by the cesium atom. An atom of cesium vibrates at a frequency that is so stable it will not gain or lose a second for millions of years. It is the heartbeat of the universe. Every GPS in your phone, every airplane in the sky, and every computer in the world is synced to the vibration of an atom. We have found the perfect rhythm of the cosmos. As you breathe, try to find your own steady rhythm. You are part of a world that is timed to the vibration of light. The mystery of the mirror. When you look in a mirror, why does it flip left and right, but not up and down? This is a classic mystery of optics. The answer is that the mirror doesn't actually flip anything. It is a front-to-back reversal. Imagine you are wearing a glove. If you pull it off your hand inside out, it becomes a glove for the other hand. The mirror is just reflecting the light straight back at you. It is showing you a world that is perfectly symmetrical. In the quantum world, symmetry is a law. For every particle, there is an antiparticle. For every action, there is a reflection. The universe loves balance. The mystery of the mirror is just a reminder that the world is always seeking its other half, its perfect equilibrium. The mystery of consciousness, the observer effect. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is the observer effect. In quantum physics, we found that the act of looking at something changes how it behaves. If we don't watch an electron, it acts like a wave of possibility. If we do watch it, it chooses a spot and acts like a particle. This used to baffle scientists. Does the universe need us to look at it to exist? The solved mystery is more about interaction. To see something, we have to hit it with a photon of light. In the tiny world of atoms, even a single photon is like a wrecking ball. It teaches us that we are not separate from the world we see. We are participants. Our presence matters. Your thoughts and your focus have a physical reality. As you close your eyes, remember that you are the creator of your own inner world. By choosing to rest, you are allowing your possibilities to expand again. The mystery of the periodic table. Why do elements behave the way they do? Why is oxygen life-giving, but chlorine poisonous? Why does iron rust, but gold stays bright? The mystery was solved by the shell model of the atom. Electrons live in shells around the nucleus. They want to have a full shell, like a full house. Oxygen has a gap in its shell, so it is always looking to bond with others to fill it. Gold has a very stable, satisfied shell, so it doesn't want to react with anything. The entire variety of the world, the smell of a rose, the taste of salt, the hardness of a diamond, comes down to how many electrons are in the outer shell. It is a beautiful, simple code. The universe is built on a small set of rules that create infinite variety. The mystery of the northern lights, the solar wind. We saw the northern lights from the ground in Chapter 1, but now we see them from the quantum level. The mystery: why does the sky glow green and red? The sun is constantly throwing out solar wind, a stream of high-energy electrons. When these electrons hit the Earth's magnetic field, they are funneled toward the poles. There, they crash into the oxygen and nitrogen atoms in our atmosphere. When an oxygen atom gets hit, its electrons jump to a higher shelf. A moment later, they fall back down to their original spot. As they fall, they release that extra energy as a flash of light. The aurora is just trillions of atoms exhaling the energy of the sun. It is a cosmic conversation. The sun speaks, and the atmosphere answers in color. It is a reminder that we are constantly receiving energy from the stars and turning it into something beautiful. The mystery of life's handedness. If you look at the molecules in your body, the sugars and the proteins, they all have a shape. And curiously, they all twist to the left. This is the mystery of chirality. Theoretically, nature should make equal amounts of left-handed and right-handed molecules. But life on Earth chose one. The mystery of why life is left-handed is still being debated, but one solved piece is that it makes life more efficient. If all the parts of a machine are threaded the same way, they fit together perfectly. You are a masterpiece of alignment. From the twist of your DNA to the beat of your heart, you are a perfectly organized system. You are not a random collection of parts, you are a carefully handed design. The mystery of the supernova: we are stardust. How did the carbon in your cells and the calcium in your bones get here? We know the Big Bang only made hydrogen and helium. The mystery was solved by understanding the cooking of the elements. Inside the core of a star, gravity is so strong that it fuses hydrogen into larger and larger atoms. But a star can only go as far as iron. To make the heavier elements, you need a massive explosion. When a giant star runs out of fuel, it collapses and then explodes as a supernova. In that split second of incredible heat and pressure, all the other elements are forged. Gold, silver, iodine, uranium. The explosion scatters these elements across the universe. Eventually, they clumped together to form the Earth. Every atom in your body was once inside a dying star. You are literally made of stardust. When you look at the stars, you are looking at your ancestors. When you look at your hand, you are looking at a relic of a celestial fire. The mystery of the vacuum, something from nothing. We think of a vacuum as empty, total nothingness. But the mystery of the vacuum was solved by quantum field theory. Space is never empty. It is a vibrating ocean of fields. Even in the deepest, darkest void between galaxies, virtual particles are popping in and out of existence every billionth of a second. The universe is simmering with energy. There is no such thing as nothing. The universe is full of potential, even where you can't see it. This is a comforting thought for sleep. Even in the silence, even in the dark, there is a supportive, energetic presence. You are never truly alone in the void. The mystery of the arrow of time. Why does time only move forward? Why can we remember the past, but not the future? Why does a dropped glass shatter, but a shattered glass never jumps back together? This is the mystery of entropy. The laws of physics are mostly reversible. A movie of two billiard balls hitting each other looks fine played forward or backward. But the universe as a whole is moving from order to disorder. Imagine a deck of cards perfectly organized by suit. If you shuffle it, it becomes disordered. If you keep shuffling, it will never, by itself, become organized again. Time is the shuffling of the universe. The mystery of the arrow of time is solved by realizing that time is just the direction in which things become more complex and more distributed. You are a moment of incredible order in a universe that is slowly spreading out. Enjoy the order of your life, the structure of your thoughts, and the peace of this moment. The transition to the dream. As we descend into the final layers of the quantum heart, the boundaries between things begin to fade. We realize that at the smallest level, there is no difference between the air you breathe and the dreams you dream. Both are made of the same shimmering fields of energy. We have traveled from the sailing stones of the desert to the fungal networks of the forest. We have dove into the deep blue and soared through the clockwork of the stars. And now, we have seen the invisible heart of the atom. The world is a solved mystery. It is a place of logic, balance, and infinite connection. You are not a stranger in a strange land. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are a collection of stardust, held together by the same gravity that holds the moon, vibrating with the same energy that lights the sun. As you drift into deep, restorative sleep, let the quantum waves wash over you. Let go of the particle of your identity. Become a wave of peace. Spread out through the room, through the house, out into the night air. Tomorrow, we will wake up back in the world of the large. We will look at the mysteries of the human mind, how we remember, why we laugh, and the beautiful, solved puzzles of our own biology. We will explore the inner world of the self. But for now, there is only the vibration. There is only the hum. There is only the perfect, quiet clockwork of the atoms. The empty space within you is not empty, it is full of peace. The forces that hold you together are strong and steady. You are safe. You are home. Sleep now. The quantum heart is beating. The stars are shining. And you are at one with the whole. Good night. Sleep in the beauty of the invisible.